with every sickness we feel. I won't pay back, fuck the dollar bill. Remain calm as the pressure feel. Gotta endure until I let this pump whistle at my focus and memory and empty. I only live to do my best for real. I.S.U.P.K, motherfucker. Ain't no cowards on this battlefield. God is straight, but made greater. In my return, never feel my mistakes. Every error was a lesson learned. Now I don't move, let's see, get them wrong. Won't take a step till they get confirmed. All it takes was speed for our sakes. March like a tank. One step will make the ground shake. My people sick in their head, Lord, let this truth spread like an outbreak. Bring hell and the crackers can't escape. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. No more payback for the scars in the slave and wars. The curse around, I can't let it slide. Ignore the lies, the only free will. Let's go for your eyes. It's like what death in the through the sky. It's happy for Spain for me and my fellow. I'm patiently waiting with my eyes on the sparrow. And I pull the trigger while my lips kiss the barrel. Forever let a white bitch do me like a fellow. I want to this wicked life like Rebecca. By any means, this devil pulling strings like pedal. Lay hold on this brotherhood. I swear I never let go. And fuck that civil school got too much love for the devil. This was settled with me, I die for the cause. Trusted in the makers of blood. And I'm true on every word I say. Cause I know my victory on the way. Won't it? Nigga, walk this way. This life may be hard, but I can't give up. Oh, my nigga, hard, and I won't give up. Could you tell me I'm this hard that you feel so much? And why you look so well? It's real, I be walking with your make. One life is hard, but I can't give up. Oh, my nigga, hard, and I won't give up. Could you tell me I'm this hard that you feel so much? And why you look so well? It's real, I be walking with your make. Boy, I can't do this. Can't do it in clutch. They hate when they came down. Big princes set a power. What you know about us? Evil all around us. But a nigga straight, I told you I can't be touched. Only angels walk in my place. I'm grateful for the birds that had me to live. I'm hungry for the glory, but I ain't eating till I feed my niggas. One West what I die for. Latanya out the fucking numbers. This rifle from the Archangel Michael. My niggas rep, you can't deny them. It's one floating flow. I be running to and fro. When the I.S.U.P.K soldiers ain't no fucking, no pretending. We in it for the crowns, fuck friends, we want the million. In the election centers, I hope I make it through. Give a damn for the bitch fake, as long as my niggas know I'm true. Respect your kind to get success. Let me do it. I understand, nigga. This life may be hard, but I can't give up. Oh, my nigga, hard, and I won't give up. Could you tell me I'm this hard that you feel so much? And why you look so good? It's real, I be walking with your make. One life is hard, but I can't give up. Oh, my nigga, hard, and I won't give up. Could you tell me I'm this hard that you feel so much? And why you look so good? It's real, I be walking with your make. One life is hard.
It is raining to walk twice.
First breath I took, the life too surreal. Second breath I took was the pivot and strike, finish the kill. Influenced by might with every sickness we feel. I won't pay back, fuck the dollar bill. Remain calm as the pressure feel. Gotta endure until I let this pump whistle at my focus and memory and empty. barrel was a lesson learned. Now I don't move, let's see, get a room. Don't take a step till they get confirmed. All it takes was paid for our sakes. March like a tank, one step will make the ground shake. My people sick in their head, Lord, let this truth spread like an outbreak. Hell, let the crackers can't escape. Better run, nowhere to hide, no more payback for the scars. In the slave pit walls, the Christ around, I can't let it slide. Ignore the lies, the only free will that's before your eyes. It's like what death nigga do the sky. It's heaven was made for me and my fellow. I'm patiently waiting with my eyes on the sparrow. And I pull the trigger while my lips kiss the barrel. Forever let a white bitch do me like Othello. I want to this life like Ravello. By any means, this devil put his strings like a pedal. Lay hold on this brotherhood. I swear I never let go. And fuck they silver school got too much love for the ghetto. Niggas will settle. Leave me, I die for the cause. Trusted in the angels of love. And I'm true on every word I say. Cause I know my victory on the way. Nigga walk this way. This life may be hard, but I can't give up. My nigga go hard and I won't give up. Could you tell me about this God that you feel so much? And why you look so good? It's real, I be talking with your make. Why life really hard, but I can't give up. My nigga go hard and I won't give up. Could you tell me about this God that you feel so much? And why you look so good? It's real, I be walking with your make. Boy, I can't be touched. Can't do it good. They hate when they came down. Big princes of power, what you know about? Evil all around us. But a nigga straight, I told you I can't be touched. Only angels walk at my face. I'm grateful for the words that had me to live. I'm hungry for the glory, but I ain't eating till I feed my niggas. One quest what I die for. Messiah out there fucking numbers, this right from road. Archangel Michael. My niggas felt you can't deny it. It's one floating flow. I've been running to and fro. When the I.S.U.P.K soldiers ain't no fucking no pretending. We in it for the crowns, fuck friends, we won't be in. In the election section, I hope I make it through. Give a damn what a bitch think. It's not fucking double true. Betray your kind to get success. Like you do the eye of the shield, nigga. This life may be hard, but I can't give up. My nigga go hard and I won't give up. Could you tell me about this God that you feel so much? And why you look so good? It's real, I be talking with your make. Why life really hard, but I can't give up. My nigga go hard and I won't give up. Could you tell me about this God that you feel so much? And why you look so good? It's real, I be walking with your make. Why I can't be touched?
Yes, Shalom Israel. This is I.S.U.P.K Trinidad and Tobago. Again, I.S.U.P.K. I've been here since 1969, bringing out the truth to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, who are the lost 12 tribes, they are the ones who have been sold, into captivity. They are the ones who, have been raped, robbed, stripped of their identity. They are the only ones who have, have no sense of refuge in this society. And this is why, again, the I.S.U.P.K under Commander General Yahanna, have been bringing out this truth again. And there's a reminder to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, who are our brothers, and because, again, tonight is Tuesday night Brotherhood class, and something that is very important throughout the nation, and it's something that was established by our King, Yahweh Shai, and which you all know as Jesus Christ. as he quote, in his saying, on these two hang all the laws and the prophets, and these prophets were men of renown, men of upright, men of stature, men of truth, who stand for nothing less than, loving their brother as themselves, in reminder. And this is why now, we have the records, again, the Black Man Book, which is, the Bible. And in there, we will find the records of the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians. So when I use the term Black, I'm referring to, the 12 tribes, our brothers, because why? Because of what this society have, drawn and again taken away from us. And because it was taken away from us is because of disobedience. Not disobedient to our slave masters, not disobedient to all of our oppressors, but disobedient to the Most High God of our. Disobedient by not walking, and adhering or paying attention to the law, statutes, and commandments. And tonight again, our class, we have classes throughout the nation, every day of the week. And why every day of the week? Because again, in these last days, no longer again will the prophets of the Most High God be put into a corner, but will be out during the time of any pandemic, because we know anything that is taking place, any storm, any virus, anything that is taking place, right, is done of the Most High. And the Christian pastor wouldn't tell you that. He would pray that, that this is an evil thing and this is a wicked thing. But saying this is an evil thing and is a wicked thing is like, saying the Most High is evil, saying the Most High is wicked. And again, as the scripture say, as he said, thou shalt not worship no other God beside me. And he's speaking to the children of Israel when he speak in this tongue. No one else, but only to the children of Israel, who are our brothers. And again, tonight as we, go into the records again and, bring out the truth. And the only place you can find that truth is in the I.S.U.P.K under command in Gen.YAHANNA. And again, you must pay tune, to the Black Watch. Again, Commander General YAHANNA have been bringing out, truth and dropping a lot of gems, as we say, very precious. And why it is precious? Because it is a reminder to us in these last days by the priests and prophets, by all the generals. And as they continue to to drop these gems, it trickle down to who? By the order set since from the beginning and the time of Moses. The same order that our King Yahweh walk under is the same order that in the I.S.U.P.K under Command General YAHANNA working under. So these instructions, as you say, was passed down unto faithful men, and it came straight down the ladder without any spot and without any blemish. They stand for truth. And these men that teach these records and hold fast to these records always stand in truth, always stand in uprightness, and never turn to the left or turn to the right, but stand in a straight, and as you see, as the scripture say, straight and narrow. Never took the broad and wide, but stand on that straight and narrow. And again, there are many scriptures that we could go in, as I say in Ezra, where you tell you, fire on one side, water on the next side. That line so thin, you must stand straight. You must stand straight. So, again, the Black Watch every Monday night from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. But locally here, due to daylight saving, the time of the class will start around 10 p.m. because again, this is a reminder to brothers and sisters who are on this side in the West Indies due to the time period. So again, pay tune to the Black Watch, and it is very informative, very, to the black man, the Hispanic man, and the Native Indian man. So again, these is things that that as Commander General Yana bring out as these last days, all he's bringing out the prophecies of what is written inside it. And when you see all these, as the scriptures say, all these things, know this, that this is just the beginning of the end. So again, from one slave master to the next, because again, only one king we have, and only one person we're going to vote for, just as Commander General and I was bringing out. Because voting is not lawful, but we only voting for who? For Jesus Christ, who the world know him as, or as we say in the Hebrew, Yahweh, or Black King, right? So we vote to the Apocrypha, right? We vote to the story of the destruction of Ben the Dragon, right? So because this now is, and we go back into reference with this, the Apocrypha again. This was taken out by the Romans and them during the time of the Roman during the time of the Roman Empire. This was removed because again, this was removed because why? Inside this book, these books is the Bible, and there were continuation of letters, continuation of all records, which the Romans, or as we say, these so-called white people or oppressors, they wanted us to know. And as we go into it, as we say, it is the Bible. So what we're going into now is just a continuation or of what took place, concerning with Daniel, in he being in Babylon at that time, and being now, that one who all of our oppressors, who were kings at that time, saw it fit and needed, that sense of counsel, that sense of righteous counsel. And Daniel being a man after the Most High and walking upright, could I give that interpretation? And this is why now the interpretation that is taking place right now, as Commanding General Yana bringing out in all these classes, and the generals and them breaking down, and it trickling down to the priests and prophets, or to the officers, the captain, the officers coming down the line, men that is sitting before these tables is men authorized to do what? To teach this truth, to stand with the integrity, and to hold this truth till the end. Because again, in the I.S.U.P.K under Commander General Yana, what he's raising up is righteous men. And the spirit, as the scripture say, the spirits of the prophets are subjected to the prophets. So the men that sitting before again these tables is men of that spirit. And again, in the I.S.U.P.K, there's always righteous counsel to deal with matters. This is why now we say, don't go to the Christian church. Don't go to counsel and be talking to Black, Hispanics, and Native Indian. Because why? By you going to counsel of unrighteous men, or as we say, men that are walking after the doctrines or the idols or philosophies of this society, what they're going to give you? They're going to give you unrighteous counsel. And because they're giving you that unrighteous counsel is why we, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, are in the condition that we are in today in this society, right? So we go to, yeah.
Is that this one?
Yeah, it's happening. It's just a whole thing.
Yeah.
So you just kind of read through the story. Yeah.
Burn the dragon
Mm-hmm.
in the Apocrypha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Slacker. And King Astyages,
Mm-hmm.
was gathered to his fathers, and Cyrus of Persia received his kingdom.
Right, and this was as you say, when we go back to the Daniel, we will go back to Daniel and we will read from that part, from nothing that in Daniel chapter 5, from into verse 6, when Daniel give the prophecy unto this king now concerning well, this will be the next ruler. So your time going to come to an end, just like as we watching right now, Donald Trump time come to an end. So our next oppressor taking over. So this was that time. So he time come to that end. So now this king going and take over. Right.
Okay. And Daniel conversed with the king and was honored above all his friends.
Right. Go ahead.
Now the Babylons had an idol called Bel.
Right. Go ahead.
And there was spent upon him every day 12 great measures of fine flour.
And we know this fine flour you're talking about bread. So, and you as I read on.
And 40 sheep. And 6 vessels of wine.
So now this is what they know that the bring forth or put forth to this idol. So these is we talking about the heathen and them, and as again these heathen and them, as we see as the scripture say, learn not the way of the heathen. Then I think it's Jeremiah chapter 10 and so on. So being this heathen now, looking at this heathen now again, walking after again the doctrines and the philosophies of his father. This is why now again we are here in the spirit of brotherhood, in the spirit of the Most High and Christ, and reminding our brothers as ourselves that we are not supposed to be walking after any other gods, but after the Most High God, our power. Right? So now we're seeing here now this heathen now again, as I say, every how much? Every 12 days, great measures of fine flour. So he lining up bread, he killing how much sheep?
12.
How much sheep he killing?
It's like 40.
You know how much is 40 sheep? So imagine this heathen now baking all that bread, because remember now he's king. And a king now, what is going on? A king, you own baker, you own everything, cook everything. So he now lining up this whole thing now, just for what? For this statue.
And so like I said, this was every day.
Every day. So he lining up this every day. Every day. And what going on now? When we look now at our brothers and sisters now, who are in the corners, who are in the ghettos, who are in need of, as we say, all these things now. What happening? The heathen now lining it up with who? The idol.
Right.
So imagine brothers and sisters now, as we say, lock up on the cage at the borders or I.S.U.P.K brothers. Our brothers, from Asherite brothers, fleeing for sense of refuge, looking for all these things. And what is he then doing? Is he then 40 sheep, bread and wine, and you laying it before for idol, right?
Okay. And the king worshipped it and went daily to adore it. But Daniel worshipped his own God.
Read that part again.
But Daniel worshipped his own God.
And this was in the time, as we say, in the time of the Babylonian, as we say, all that time away, Daniel made that prophecy to Nebuchadnezzar, telling him about the fall and how the kingdoms coming down. Every kingdom, every empire have its time to reign coming down. So now, in that time now, Daniel, as the scripture say, worship his own God. And this is the God that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians supposed to be worshiping. The God of our fathers, of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The God that, said to be separated. The God who made the vision throughout the whole earth. From in the beginning, as he say in the book of Genesis, when he created everything, he divided it. He made he separated the earth from the sea, dry land from the waters. He made a division in everything. So now this is something that we must pay attention to. And this is why now again in the spirit of brotherhood, it is reminded to our brothers and sisters that we must be separated. And in these last days, as the Most High God poured His Spirit, and the Spirit is in the I.S.U.P.K. under Commander General Yahanna. And these men, these prophets, these priests and prophets will do what? Will remind brothers as themselves, and remind our people and remind the nation on a whole that in these last days, the Most High God is calling for something from the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian brother and sister to be separated, right? Because why? We serve the God that created everything. They serve God that are made with hands, and that are recorded in the scriptures. Right? So go ahead.
And the king said unto him, Why doest not thou worship Baal?
So this was a question now that was posed to Daniel. Because remember now, as you read up now, it say Daniel conversed with the king. So they had conversation on a daily, because at that time, I think he said Daniel over, as we were going in Daniel and read it after, he said Daniel into a seat where Daniel now could really bring forth a righteous judgment, give him that righteous answer, that righteous counsel, right? And because of this now, this is why now again, it shows that the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, again, woman and children must be separated, right? Go ahead.
Who answered and said, Because I may not worship idols made with hands, but the living God.
Read that again, Tawala.
Because I may not worship idols made with hands, but the living God.
And this is why now, as we see all these, holidays and these holidays, traditions are men coming up. In the time, as we say in this festive time, as they always say, the Thanksgiving, the Christmas, the New Year's, all these things coming about. And Daniel is letting the king know that read that part again, Tawala.
Because I may not worship idols made with hands.
So this is why we are telling Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian man, do not worship these idols that is made with hand. All these things now, again, General Mahima was bringing out in the class last night again now to our Native Indian brothers and sisters, the time of Thanksgiving. We supposed to be standing in as we say, in solidarity, or standing with our brother. With our brother, because of all the pillage and all the murder and all the slaughter that our oppressors, the so-called white man, and all these oppressors brought to our brother, and standing with him, in, as we say, as a brother, and not just as a brother, as a righteous brother, and reminding him now, hey, never join hand with the oppressors. Because as the scriptures say, as iron rusted, so is the wickedness of the wicked. They will always be wicked to us. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian. And there's a reminder that as you say, don't worship idols made with hands. So all these, holidays and all these, doctrines and idols, Christmas tree, Santa Claus, all these things, and listening, as I mentioned that, this listening to the the update every day would just be taking place in Trinidad concerning the COVID-19. They're bringing now this woman, and this is very need to pay attention, because again, what Commander General Yahanna is bringing out, he is bringing out what is going to take place from in the present right now. And this woman now come as some I forget the name now. Advisor concerning, you know, what's supposed to take place now, or because depression, because of depression now that people know now coming up with the Christmas season coming now, the depression. So she's a depression advisor, telling people now don't be depressed because, you know, well, you know, this Christmas won't be like how it go used to be, but not knowing that how, hey, the most I go on in blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians.
Right.
He not telling the heathen to stop do what they're doing because them do celebrate that, them do walk after that. Only blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians just walk after the customs that all the heathen. Walk after the culture, walk after the tradition. Because why? Because we now have been, you know, joined in hands when we were supposed to be separated, when we're supposed to take heed at Deuteronomy 7 and 3 going on, when we're supposed to be Deuteronomy 7 and 6, a special people unto the Most High God Himself. But what take place? We join hands with our oppressors. And she now being the advisor now, you know, first, watch, they're so sly and slippery. She's saying, you know, no longer, you know, the children and them won't get to sit on Santa Claus' knee. So when she said that, I say, well, wait now, why she didn't say he laughed? Because you know what happened? Because what Santa Claus used to do, molest them little children and them. So she now knowing that, hey, yeah, what's going on? If she only say laugh, somebody might jump out and say, hey, it's a good thing, it's not Christmas again. Because them little children, them just get saved a little touch up. Or them little children just get saved from molestation. Right? So again, this is why now, as you know, Daniel, which was again a brother from the tribe of Judah, you know, standing and say, hey, yeah, what's going on? Either worship no God, they'll make with hands, right? Continue.
But the living God,
Mm-hmm.
who had created the heaven and the earth,
Mm-hmm.
had sovereignty over all flesh.
Had what?
Sovereignty over all flesh.
Right? He have rulership. He have dominion over everything that you're seeing right now. And this is something that we must be reminded of. So don't feel that, you know, well, all gods is one. It only have one true and living God, like the creator of this heaven, and this earth, creator of all. And this is the God that the black, Hispanics, and Native Indian man supposed to be serving. This is the God saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I'll punish you for all your unrighteousness. This is the God that we're dealing with. This is the God who you know, would say that, oh, hey, Israel is the apple of my eye. You are special people unto me, are peculiar people unto me. So he's telling you, as a good father, hey, if you slip, you get a patas. But if you stand right, yeah, what's going on? You have a reward to get at the end of it. Your reward, this is your reward. Rulership, dominion over all. This is the God that we, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, supposed to be served. And this is why, you know, again, the spirit of brotherhood was you know, something that was taken away from us. Because why? No longer we look as ourselves. We start to look to our brothers as enemies. We start to sell drugs. We start to pimp our sisters. We start to follow the abortion clinic or women. Start to walk after, you know, well, hey, they have a correct. And this is why now all these things is reminders. Because why? These things was idol that was set before us. These things that was set to destroy us. And these things was set that the black, Hispanics, and Native Indian man in the spirit of brotherhood could come together and realize, wait now, these other nations conspire together, Psalms 83 again, to do what? To have a hand in our destruction, to have a hand in all of our oppression. Right? Continue.
Verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
Then said the king unto him,
Mm-hmm.
Thinkest thou not that Bel is a living God?
So he asked him a question again. Hey, Daniel, you think Bel is a living God? But he just now gave him 40 sheep, killing 40 sheep, but you asking a question. So it goes to show you the mindset of all the heathens and them. They don't really know, have a clue what is going on. All them know here what's going on. As I say, they're walking after the traditions of the fathers. And this is why now we reminded brothers and sisters, walk after the traditions of your forefathers, our forefather Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The men and them who stand with the Most High God, our power. The men and them who, in these records, which belong to the Black, Hispanics, and Native Indian man, could stand in the time of test and realize, well, wait now, we are the only people who have been oppressed for over 400 years. Every other nation had a hand in the oppression. So this is why now they would always come to us for what? For some kind of resolution to their problems. For some kind of, aid to help, fix their situation. Because you know why, again, the example. Who did the Queen of Sheba went to? She went to Solomon. To do what? For him to give her righteous counsel.
Right.
Because why? Without righteousness in this society, no other nation would do what? Would thrive. There would always be war. And again, every time we come here, we always prophesy again against these Christian pastors. These are, as we call them, Christians, because they were supposed to be our gatekeepers. They were supposed to be reminding us of these records. But you know what? They fail. Because why? Because of that love for filthy lucre. That love for what? For money. And that hatred towards the brother. Right? Go ahead.
Then said the king unto him, Thinkest thou not Bel is a living God? Seest thou not how much he eateth and drinketh every day? Then Daniel smiled and said, O king, be not deceived,
Right.
for this is but clay within,
Right.
and brass without, and did never eat or drink anything.
So when Daniel telling this hurty feelings, and we will see how hurty feelings, because why now? I.S.U.P.K. But if you is the king now and you're asking for righteous counsel, and again righteous counsel, why your feelings? You feel that you're not supposed to be. Your feelings are supposed to be hurt. But you know why? Because now he now realize again, just like every other heathen, realize, hey, wait now, I invested in something where it doesn't exist. I invested in something, where well, hey, I could be doing some investment in some, and show you how these heathens them is. They have no care for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. They rather invest in something just so the mind could be, doing something. But when coming to you, again, as General was bringing out, in our food program, we cater for all. But in their food program, they don't cater for the Black, Hispanics, and Native Indians. They don't have nothing in place for us. Because why? Why it is now, we have to be pulling and grabbing at every, because you know why? They don't have nothing in place for us. But when you look at the food drive that, through the I.S.U.P.K, you will see heathens and all coming in. And they are not going to be turned back. But you know, in the midst of all of this, and in the midst of society now, where this society now is rich in wealth. And when you look at the Black, Hispanics, and Native Indians, what have to be? That be looking for handouts, that be looking for this. In this time, when this society is supposed to be doing what? Supposed to be assisting everybody. And it shows you this, again, there's no peace. And that peace what the scripture was talking about was that peace amongst brothers, amongst these 12 tribes, that we could come back as a nation, as brothers, as merge together, and that that our king, who would be ruler over all the earth in righteousness, that as the scripture say, even the trees and all rejoice in that time, right? Go ahead.
Okay. So the king was wroth and called for his priests and said unto them, If ye tell me not who this is that devoured these expenses, ye shall die.
So you see, so he called for he priests. He priests. Again, and again, this is why again we always say, we always prophesy or talk against our religious leaders of the day, because they are goddamn liars, such as thieves and robbers. Right? Go ahead.
But if ye can certify me that Bel devoureth them, then Daniel shall die.
Then what?
Then Daniel shall die.
So now he put it in a bed, or he put it in it's like, hey, what going on? If this is truth and this is a lie, this lie we're going to done away with it, which is righteous. And if this is truth and this is a lie, we're going to done away with it, and this is a righteous judgment. So he make a call on a righteous judgment. So whoever telling a lie going to be what? Destroyed. And this is why in the I.S.U.P.K under commanding General Yahanna, we are letting brothers and sisters know, do have a turkey on your table. Do sit down under that Christmas tree. Do sing, as we say, that happy birthday. Do walk after these other gods, because they are lies. They are things to bring destruction to the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. Right? Go ahead.
But if ye certify me that Bel devoured them, then Daniel shall die.
Right.
For he had spoken blasphemy against Bel.
He has spoken blasphemy against who?
Bel.
So, and with the scripture say that blasphemy against the Holy Spirit is what? Is death. You can blasphemy against anything, but he talking about blasphemy against this idol. But Daniel learned, as we say, as Christ let us know, that anytime we talk against the Most High God, we're going to put to death. So now we're going to see who going to be put to death as we continue to read on. Go ahead.
And Daniel said unto the king, Let it be according to thy word.
Right.
Now the priests of Bel were 70, besides their wives and children.
So 70 is how much? Like 70. So that is that real people. 70 men, women, beside women and children. So now, what them was doing now? Them was having a feast every day. 40 sheep, bread and wine, and everybody having a feast. When they're supposed to be doing what? Again, when this king supposed to be doing what? Supposed to be feeding the nation. And when you look, again, this is why, again, Commanding General Yahanna is saying, hey, pay your tithes. You feel the tithes going to the tithes going towards the nation in rebuilding the nation. You mind them, brothers and sisters, to pay your tithes, because again, we as a nation always used to sustain ourselves. When you go back to the records, as you say in Deuteronomy, same Deuteronomy 28, coming down the blessings, everybody else will come to us, but we would not go to them. But because we curse, we fall under the curses on them and disobedient, what we doing now? We're going to our enemies and want all things. As the scripture say, hunger and thirst, and want everything. This is why we are in this position today. And this is why it is recorded in your record, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian man. Because why? You are the one who have been downtrodden for over 400 years. And every time you've been downtrodden, the Most High always send that deliverer, always send that savior to do what? To remind you. And always, who it is? Our brother. Our brother. To do what? Remind the brother as himself. And this is why Commanding General Yahanna again is the leader of the nation of Israel at this time, in this generation. Because why? He did one thing that, that all these, break off from the I.S.U.P.K, then do. Remind the brothers as herself. Remind them that there's only one truth. Not two, not three, but learn the breakdowns on them. Sit down. Those come and then say, yeah, we're going to know and bust out. And create your own group. Because why? When you look at all these other groups, what going on? It's always, as you're saying, other nations coming in, killing sister. All that real example. Brothers saying that, oh, you could have sex with a minor again. So all these things on them. Because why? Because of what? They turn away from that love, that first love, that love in your brother as yourself, and started to walk after the doctrines and the philosophies. Amen. Walk after idols of this society. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 11. So Bel's priest said, Lo, we go out. But thou, O king, set on the meat and make ready the wine and shut the door fast,
Right.
and seal it with thy own signet.
Right.
And tomorrow, when thou comest in, if thou findest not that Bel had eaten up all,
Right.
we will suffer death.
Right.
Or else, Daniel, that speaketh falsely against us.
Right. So the talking proudly, as we say, the in all the talking that about sin, because you will tell them, hey, hurry up, line up your thing, and shut it quick. And as you say, pay a signet, hey, the king gave orders, as gave instructions by authorization. Make sure that door lock. Anybody who follow that authorization, them and all might go be put to death. But you make sure that he sign on it. But not knowing, as we continue to read on. Go ahead. We go see what's going on. Go ahead.
Verse 13. And they little regarded it.
And they what?
And they little regarded it.
So we could kill them dead. You know what we get through now. Daniel, he go in on dead. He go in on dead. Because why? We more smarter than this man. But not knowing that this man was a man walking after the spirit of the Most High God. So what he doing now? He would be speaking in all truth. Because he letting you know, hey, upright, hey, die just a belly a clay or wherever, he let you know that. And your baba burst now and you realize, oh, wait now, all that time I only feeding something, but wait now, where all that food going? When really and truly, hey, again, because of unrighteousness and because of, as we always say, we always like to feel like we're a smart man, this is the end result. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 13. And they little regarded it, for under the table they had made a privy entrance.
Right, so they had a special entrance or a private entrance where nobody didn't know about. So all that time now, it's showing you that, hey, what them was doing was outsmarting king. And when you do that, it shows you that you trying to outsmart the person who feeding you. This is the end result. This is why now again it come like a slander, talking against that person who really feeding you. And this is why now again, in these records, it have righteous counsel. And the righteous counsel only come from righteous men. Not men that walking after their own doctrine and their own philosophy, or walking after their own idol. And telling everybody you could still celebrate that. You have no problem with that. Long as you know anytime you're in that spirit and everybody around you in that spirit, what's going to happen? It's going to draw your spirit. But you must be hard like stone, hard like rock. Just as he say, upon this rock, I'm going to build my house, and nothing shall prevail against it. Die the rock you're supposed to be hard. Anything hit against that, it's not going to do it no harm. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 14. Just like I think verse 13.
Yeah.
And they little regarded it, for under the table they had made a privy entrance, whereby they entered in continually and consumed things, those things.
Right.
So when they were gone forth, the king set meat before Bel. Now Daniel had commanded his servants to bring ashes.
Right. So everybody, well, in this term, we will explain what ashes is. As you say, you lay ashes on the ground. So now anybody that come in, because remember now they're coming in the night, so you can't see one on the ground. So now he leaving, he's setting up this now, just as we say, as we always say, a rat trap. A rat trap. Right? Go ahead.
So when they were gone forth, the king set meat before Bel. Now Daniel had commanded his servants to bring ashes, and those they strew throughout all the temple.
Right. So they spread it throughout the temple. They make sure that when them say that, hey, yeah, we tell the king, hey, set a meeting, whatever. Daniel now was with the king, or whatever the case may be. When the king done do it thing, Daniel do it thing too. Right? Go ahead.
And those they strew throughout all the temple in the presence of the king alone.
So it was in the presence of the king alone, because now, remember now in the earlier part, when you read it now, the king was questioning Daniel. So Daniel now let the king know, hey, what you're doing is not true. So now the king now in his presence now, when with the conversation, he let him know, all right, let me prove it here. Let me do this, and you is the only witness that's seen that I do this. All right, go ahead.
Then went they out and shut the door and see it with the king's signet,
Right.
and so departed.
Right.
Now in the night came the priests with their wives and children, as they were wont to do, and did eat and drink up all.
And when they say as they were wont to do, this is something that they always used to do. Always used to do since from time, as you said, that when he called them, these is the men that he used to be listening to. And we will see all of that and all too as we continue on. Go ahead.
Verse 16. In the morning, bedtime, the king arose, and Daniel with him. And the king said, Daniel, are the seals whole? And he said, Yea, O king, they be whole. And as soon as he had opened the door, the king looked upon the table and cried with a loud voice, Great thou art. So like a great art thou, O Bel. And with thee is no deceit at all.
Oh God, Christmas. Christ born on the 25th of December. Santa Claus. Look, Santa Claus riding across the sky that rain there. You know? Hey, as we say, birthday is something that, you know, we can think wherever. We get through.
So like this.
Go ahead.
This is, you know, real. Almost like, you know, like you go have, you know, children, you have like the tooth fairy. They take out the teeth.
Yeah.
You put below the pillow and you say, well, you know, the tooth fairy will give you
money.
Yeah. And when the child see the money word,
yeah,
the child
destroying, as you say,
but not knowing.
Yeah.
It's witchcraft people on the child.
Again, and this is why you know in the I.S.U.P.K under Commander General Yana, these records were set before the Black Hispanics and Native Indian as reminders, and this is why now we could go to it in the spirit of the Most High and Christ, and bring up these records as reminders to brothers and sisters that all these idols that is before the nation, in these last days, now is the time that for us to wake up, as we say, and don't fall back asleep, because now more than ever again, to our brothers and sisters in Babylon, again, a heavy dose of NyQuil is before you all. Even to us in the Caribbean and all, and throughout the Americas, where we reside, where the 12 tribes reside. Now is the time for us to pay attention, because now the baby, if you ain't pay careful attention, the baby could be rocked back to sleep, could be put back to sleep. So this is a reminder for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, right? Go ahead.
God. Then laughed Daniel and held the king that he should not go in.
Right. So he tell him, hey, he laughed. He say, wait, you only watch because as a boss the door, what you see now? You seen them. You seen the statue. So when you see the statue now, because you loaded up with food. Now when you bust the door now, you ain't see nothing. But you in pay, because man now Daniel conversed with the king. He said all the ashes. So your mind is showing out the mind of the heathen. Even though they turn to us for anything, they would not believe you. Again, this is why the scriptures remind us never trust thine enemies, because he was an enemy to us. Despite of what took place in the time when Daniel was again under his captivity in Babylon, despite of anything, Daniel always keep the one thing that top of his mind, as he said, never trust thine enemies. You have your way, the Most High God is the one who in charge. So we in this captivity, and again with all the change of oppressors, from oppressor to oppressor, none of them never meant good or to do good for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. None of them. Because why? On the top of their agenda is always about themselves and their people and their nation. And they would downtrod their nation to make you feel that hey, look, they don't. But really and truly, they always consider their people, always consider their nation. Because why? The Most High God say this, he created division. And when he divides something, it means he separated something. This supposed to be here, and that's supposed to be here. I didn't see that. It recorded in our records. Right? Go ahead.
Okay. Then Daniel laughed and held the king that he should not go in.
Right.
And said, behold now the pavement, and mark well whose footsteps are these.
Right. Looking. Watch what's going on. Remember now all of this. Look at that and see who footprints is these. Go ahead.
And the king said, I see the footsteps of men, women, and children. And then the king was angry.
Then he was what?
Then the king was angry.
So now remember now, when a king make a decree, or he make as you say, give certification to anything, he must carry it out. And at this time now was their life for Daniel's life. So he must carry it out. Go ahead.
Okay. And took the priests with their wives and children,
right,
to show him the privy door,
right,
where they came in. and consumed such things as were upon the table.
Right.
Therefore, the king slew them and delivered Bel into Daniel's power,
Right.
who destroyed him.
We do.
Who destroyed him
Right.
and his temple.
Right. Just a minute. I'll ask you. Just a minute. So back here. So, Right. Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 5. Let's come back. And this is what was always instructed of us to do by the Most High. If you want to read it, I'll read it. Yeah, I will read it. Right? So this was always instructed of us, by the Most High God. Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 5. But thus shall deal with them. Ye shall destroy their altars and break down their images and cut down their grooves and burn their graven images with fire. So now, Daniel now was given the authority and the power to do what with Bel? Yeah, go ahead from verse 19. Yeah, continue. So Daniel was given instructions to do what with Bel? Go ahead.
So,
Yeah,
therefore, therefore the king slew them and delivered Bel into Daniel's power,
right,
who destroyed him and his temple.
So Daniel destroyed that whole temple, that whole idol, that whole false image. But we will continue to read out through because now it gets more interesting. It gets more interesting, right? Go ahead.
Verse 33. And in that same place there was a great dragon which they of Babylon worship.
Which who?
They of Babylon worship.
So this first idol here now, that was the king personal, as we say, statue thing, wherever. This one here now is just like everybody like they go to Mecca, the Kaaba stone, the bowing before that, the bowing, the thing wherever. Now it will get more real. Go ahead.
Okay. Verse 24. And the king said unto Daniel, Wilt thou also say that this is of brass? Lo, he liveth, he eateth and drinketh. Thou cannot say that he is no living God. Therefore, worship him.
So he gave Daniel instructions now. Daniel had, as you say, he set out that decree. He mad. He kill you or whoever was worshiping at that time. So now here what's going on. This is the Babylonian God. I will prove you wrong now. This dragon here, as you see, we like the setup, in all them, in all them old them movies and them now, with all the Troy and all them kind of always had this big dragon, wherever. Well.
Okay. Verse 26. But give me leave, O king, and I shall slay this dragon without sword or staff. The king said, I give thee leave. Then Daniel took pitch and fat and hair and did seethe them together,
right,
and made lumps thereof.
Right.
This he put in the dragon's mouth, so that the dragon burst in sunder.
Right.
And Daniel said, Lo, these are no gods ye worship.
Right.
Verse 28. When they of Babylon heard that, they took great indignation and conspired against the king, saying, This king is become a Jew.
This king is what?
Is become a Jew.
So this is why now again, when the righteous in authority, the whole earth is going to rejoice. So now, why you think now you're seeing, as I saying, all them boot kissing and them you're seeing going on. These is men that understood that what their forefathers do. These is the men and them as we always bring out, as Christ was bringing out, as this heathen woman or this white woman and this Canaanite woman come and say, shall not the dog eat the crumbs from under the master's table? Because you know why? They understood who our king was. Right. And this king understood who Daniel served. Because everything that he brought forth to him, it was proven. And you know what happened? He had records showing who Daniel was. And we could just go back in Daniel, as you say, for a little time, and we just kind of browse through. And we're going to see all these things that why they always look after Daniel. Right? Go ahead.
Okay. The king is become a Jew.
Right.
And he had destroyed Bel. He had slain the dragon and put the priest to death. So they came to the king and said, deliver us Daniel, or else we will destroy thee and thine house.
Right. So now, hear this. I know they always like to think now, hey, but look, he convert. He can convert into a Jew. Because now he believe, the Christian church, like, now he believe. But here the thing about it now, he believing is knowing what your forefathers did. That is why now, as we always say, take all we have, as you say, and do what? And help, assist, the Black Hispanic. Free or it's a right brothers on the border. Mexico will lock up America, Babylon, will lock up in cages. Free them. But you know what happened? What happened? When you start to see this now, what happened? Now, just as I say, now we convert. Because if you go in and do that now, here we're going and go on now. This man, he bringing trouble. So here we're going on. The company would bring would threatening our life, no?
That's lucky. Verse 39. So they came to the king and said, deliver us Daniel, or else we will destroy thee and thine house.
So, and these men, was the men that the king set in place. I think that right here in the record now with Daniel 6 now was was about 40 or some different princesses, prince, and how much different president, but Daniel was above all of them now. Daniel was above all of them because why? Because of righteous conduct. And then here we're going on, really and truly, we're worshiping there, it's going to be destroyed. And this is why we remind brothers and sisters, pay tune to these classes, to when these brothers and them sit before you all. When we sit before you all and bring out all these our records and remind our brothers ourselves that in these last days, these are the things that will be that will hold us and keep us. Because why? When all these again plagues that come upon this society, just as in Egypt, start up, the Most High God, as you say, send forth the angel to bring destruction. If you're not walking in righteousness again, or in rights, or you're not in good standing with the Most High, what's going to happen? You're going to be consumed. But our prayers is always that all our brothers and sisters will pay heed to this, will draw near to this. Because why? As you say, this, every ear is going to hear this. Wherever we reside, is going to hear it. Whether we speak Spanish, whether we speak English, whether we speak Dutch, whether we speak French, any language, where we are, we're going to hear this. Right? Go ahead.
Okay. Now when the king saw that they pressed him sore, being constrained, he delivered Daniel unto them.
And this, what is reminding here, just as when they kill the king, our King Christ, they let him know, hey, yeah, what's going on. If you ain't make that judgment call, go on. We will let Caesar, whoever was in thing, let them know, hey, yeah, what's going on. Only one God we serving, that is Caesar. We ain't serving no other God. So anybody who's trying to bring any other God into this pit here, again, talking against Caesar. So now with what take place, them letting him know, yeah, what's going on. Where do you talk against the Babylonian God? So yeah, what's going on? Everybody, we will come up against it. We will form the community, as we say, or form everybody, and we'll come up against it. And you know, when that happened now, because now everybody now worshiping this dragon, this Babylonian dragon. So when they come now, they say the king, they're weak. What will happen? Everybody now going to come against him. So he being now again a heathen, and again, not a Jew, not a man of uprightness, do what? Just as any heathen will do. Dip out. Go ahead.
So like I said,
Go ahead, yeah.
you know, you see where you know, this whole idea of so-called democracy and all this kind of aspect where, you know, the people you just really fall into the hands of the people. Whatever they say, because they were so embarrassed because, you know, they are proved them and their gods to be liars. So because of shame, so like you know, because of shame, you know, that is when, you know, what made them reach this far to say, well, if this Jew could convince this man to do this and make this killing embarrassed by them, kill the priest.
Kill 70 men and the family.
It's like it's like threatening. It's like, you know, a man threatening your money.
Yeah.
You understand? Because a man threatening your money.
Yeah.
So yeah, see that man, we gotta give it like.
Same thing same thing in Egypt. When the Pharaoh that didn't know Joseph, what we say? He say, come, let me put some more labor on them. Let's the join with the enemies because they're growing mighty and stronger than us. And this is what as we say, this is why we in these records to remind blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians again, as we say, these idols that is before you, it shouldn't be. They should all be cast down. And this is why the I.S.U.P.K is casting them down and letting you know that, hey, these things is not to be worshipped. These things destroy brotherhood. These things destroy sisterhood. And this is why we be here to remind brothers and sisters, right? Go ahead.
Okay. The book of Bell and the Dragon, verse 51.
Yeah.
Now when the king saw that they pressed him sore, being constrained, he delivered Daniel unto them.
Right.
Who cast him into the lion's den,
right,
where he was 6 days.
So this is now again. So now he talking about, you know, he got this and he got that. Let me see how good he God is. How good he God is. Go ahead.
And in the den there were 7 lions.
How much?
7 lions.
Right.
And they did give them every day 2 carcasses.
Right.
And 2 sheep. Which then were not given to them.
So they're telling you what they used to get them. Now they ain't giving them it. So what's supposed to take place? As you drop. Go ahead.
Okay. Which were given to them to the intent they might devour Daniel.
Right. So now that why again, just like the general was bringing out with the little report that come in concerning when the Kentucky 8. But one of the men and them, one of the heathen them that run upon them, they shoot him. So now, as I say, no hand or nothing can come up against the children of Israel or the prophets.
So like I said, if I know,
Yeah. Yeah. Not a dog shall move his tongue. Yeah. So anything now you try to say or to try to bring harm at the priests and prophets at the Most High, this is what will befall it, because Daniel now was a prophet of the Most High. The Kentucky 8 were prophets of the Most High. And what tried to befall them? They tried to bring harm before them, because why? What Daniel was doing, Daniel was doing the same thing that these Kentucky 8 was doing, was bringing out this truth and letting brothers and sisters know, don't celebrate all these things, that these feast days and them, all these feast days, these pagan holidays and them, these doctrines are men. And there was breaking down all the idol, breaking down all the image. When they see Caesar Borgia, this flaming homosexual, that care that get them mad. When they start to prophesy and they start to speak against all the other gods, hey, we're not supposed to join hand with the heathen, but here what's going on? Hey, but look my white body here, look my Chinese body here. They're breaking down now, let them know, hey, them is your oppressor, talking against them. What go on now? Now they're going to come against you. But here the thing about it, Daniel knew that he served the true and living God. These brothers stand in the spirit of brotherhood and know that they serve the true and living God. As we say, this is until death. Because why? The prophets walk until death. Our king lived the example until death. All the apostles and the disciples walk until death for this truth. Because you know why? At the end, we know what is the reward. That this is going to be destroyed. And look what happening. The coronavirus.
Right.
Look what happening. As we say, these storms, these earthquakes. Because why? All these things is recorded in the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man records. The 12 tribes records. The chosen people of God records. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 33. Now there was in Jewry a prophet called Habakkuk, who had made pottage and had broken bread in a bowl,
Right.
and was going into the field for to bring it to the reapers. But the angel of the Lord said unto Habakkuk, Go, carry the dinner that thou hast into Babylon unto Daniel,
Right.
who is in the lion's den.
Right. So he gave him instructions to go and feed your brother. This is instruction that I given you, that was given unto me to pass down. Your brother, they feed him. Go ahead.
And Habakkuk said, Lord, I never saw Babylon.
What?
I never saw Babylon.
Right.
Neither do I know where the den is.
So again, and this is something that we always remind our brothers and sisters. When instructions is given from, as we say, come down, this is why we need to do what? Follow the instructions. Because why? These instructions was given from above, come down, the order. And when these instructions is given, it should be carried out. And because now, again, because of the doctrines and the philosophies of this society, we tend to do what? To question these instructions. And this is an example now, again, why now, again, that brotherhood is very important, to remind brothers as yourself. Right? Go ahead.
Then the angel of the Lord took him by the crown and bare him by the hair of his head, and through the vehemency of his spirit set him in Babylon
Right.
over the dead.
Right. So again, what I show you do there?
Let him play.
He play. Come here. Teleport him one time over the den in position. Go ahead.
Okay. And Habakkuk cried, saying, O Daniel, Daniel, take the dinner which God had set thee.
He say,
take the dinner that which God had sent thee.
Which the Most High or power has set before you. Because why? In Daniel, in all Daniel walk, as you say, we will just go and just browse through. Daniel always look towards the east and always pray. Pray to the Most High God to revive or to relieve Israel or the nation from under this burden, from under this captivity. And this is why we are here today in the I.S.U.P.K under Commanding General YAHANNA, praying that as we say in our prayer, let loose all the plagues.
Right.
Let it go to and fro through the earth and consume them. Let the plagues shake the house of the thief and the murderer. This is what we pray for every day. And Daniel always pray that you know that the nation get ease. Because why? Because of what he was seeing, what our people was walking after, the traditions and the idols. And because he know they started to destroy it, what going on? The oppressors had to come up against it. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 38. And Daniel said, Thou hast remembered me, O God.
Thou hast what?
Remembered me, O God.
This is why we always say Barakataya Waya Washai to the Most High in Christ for all that has taken place. Because you know why? The Most High will always remember Israel. You always remember these 12 tribes wherever we are. And you know what? Because why? Israel is his firstborn.
Right.
Israel is as he say, you only have I known. This is why now, as he say, and again, as he say again.
And Daniel said, Thou hast remembered me, O God. Neither hast thou forsaken them that seek thee and love thee.
Neither hast thou do what?
Forsaken them that seek thee.
This is why the Most High God had never forsake us. In the I.S.U.P.K, under Commanding General YAHANNA since '69, since bringing all this truth, he had never forsaken the righteous, as he say. He never see the righteous beg bread. Never see that. Because why? What they stand with, they stand in the integrity and the uprightness of the Most High. Never. Never. Because why? They know who provide. The Most High provide. And he always make that provision for your children. And he always make a way out. He never leave you to say, hey, it's for it to be consumed. He always make a way out. And our way out is through these records.
Right.
To be reminded by priests and prophets. Just like as Daniel say, that he never forsake them who seek him. He never do that. And how you seeking him? Now we Christian pastor tell you, now we imam tell you, but you know what? By following these laws, statutes, and commandments, by walking after these records, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian man records, right? But
okay. So Daniel arose and did eat, and the angel of the Lord set Habakkuk in his own place again immediately.
So he showed him something. He said, don't ever question the instructions of the Most High. When the Most High is set to give instructions, what to do? To follow it. Commanding General YAHANNA have been given instructions to the generals come straight down. And what is expected of us? To follow it. This is why we sit at these tables. Because we follow the instructions of a righteous man, of a righteous black man that serve, as we say, the nigger God, that serve the true and living God at these records, that is set for us to guide us, that we could retain our rulership and rule this society in righteousness, rule this earth in righteousness, and break down all the, as you say, the graven images, all them images before us, that our people may understand that the Most High God had made us a separate people,
Right.
unto himself. As we say in Hebrew, Quadash, a holy people. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 40. Upon the 7th day, the king went to bewail Daniel. And when he came to the den, he looked in, and behold, Daniel was sitting. Then cried the king with a loud voice, saying, Great art, Lord God of Daniel, and there is none other besides thee.
You read that again.
Great Lord God of Daniel, and there is none other besides thee.
So when you see these brothers on the street corners, bringing out these records, so the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, and these heathen and them down on the knees doing what they're supposed to do, honoring the men and them who's supposed to be in authority, honoring the king, honoring the prince. Know this. Don't talk against them, because when you talk against them, you know you're talking against the Most High God.
Right.
Because what they are out there doing is breaking down all these idols. That Black, Hispanics, and Native Indian man could come back and serve the true and living God. And this is always a reminder that these records was always set before us, before the nation. That it will be a reminder, and we know what will happen. That we will teach this to our sons, and it will continue on. And again, it shall not depart from us.
Okay.
As a reminder, right? Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
There's just a particular scripture that comes to mind. Let's paraphrase and say, touch not the Lord's anointed.
That's right.
Those prophets no harm.
That's right. That's right. Go ahead.
Okay. Verse 42. And he drew him out and cast those that were the cause of his destruction into the den.
Right.
And they were devoured in a moment before his face.
So all will then feed the lion for wherever days. They didn't give them that because they wanted it to consume Daniel. Now the king because remember now he regained back that power now. Because now all these princes, we just touch about 2 or 3 and just to show you that who the men and them who we set up. And these is the men and them who get devoured. Because why? They know we're like, as you say in the breakdown, the breakdown of Daniel with the head brass, the steel, all the breakdown coming down. This was it coming down now. So now they know are like next in line to be king. So now you next in line to be king. This king looking weak, yeah, what's going on? We go destroy. But as the scripture say, we go read it just now. That's not that's thinking. So you drop that, then go to Daniel chapter. Chapter 5. Listen. Right. Just read 5 and 1. 5 and 1.
The book of Daniel, chapter 5 and verse 1. Belshazzar, the king, made a great feast to 1,000 of his lords,
right,
and drank wine before the 1,000. Verse 2. Belshazzar, whilst he tasted the wine, commanded to bring the golden and silver vessels which his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple which was in Jerusalem,
Right.
that the king and the princes, his wives and his concubines might drink therein.
Right. So this was again the son of Nebuchadnezzar. Remember now Daniel made the prophecy concerning with Nebuchadnezzar or I fall. Right? Yes, no. Yes, no. Bear with me a little. I want to go through like you can read through now. When you get a chance, you can read through, the book and and because again, this was the destruction of Bel and the dragon. This was part of Daniel and all in during the time of Daniel. So, right. Read verse 10 to
Verse 10?
10 and 11. Yeah, 10 and 11.
The book of Daniel, chapter 10.
5
So like chapter 5
10
and verse 10. Now the queen, by reason of the words of the king and his lords, came into the banquet of the king of the house. And the queen spake and said, O king, live forever.
Right.
Let not thy thoughts be troubled thee, nor let thy countenance be changed. There is a man in thy kingdom,
Right.
in whom is the spirit of the holy gods. And in the days of thy father, light and understanding and wisdom, like the wisdom of the gods, was found in him. Whom the king Nebuchadnezzar, thy father, the king, I say, thy father, made master of the magicians,
Right.
astrologers, Chaldeans, and soothsayers.
Right. So this was Daniel. His wife, the queen, was reminding him that this was the man that the father set over all of them now. So anything like interpretation concerning a dream or wherever a vision, wherever as we say, this is the person who will give you the interpretation. Because why? When Nebuchadnezzar had the dream, all these other again, all these other, as we say, idol worshippers could not make that interpretation. Because why? This was something directed or given or instructed by the Most High, that only the children of Israel could make that prophecy. Could let you know, hey, yeah, what's going on? The plagues on them, on the earth. The man, again, who in this society right now, again, making all these prophecies commanding General Yahanna. In this generation, reminding brothers again in the spirit of brotherhood that in these records, the Black, Hispanics, and Native Indian man records that is before us, that is the records was written again that we should know that what shall befall us in these last days, right? So. Yeah, let's check the time. Well, you can read through it on your time. Let me just read this one. Right. Let me just read the interpretation what the king saw at that time. So you could just jump from there, jump to 24. 5 and 24.
The book of Genesis, Salakia, book of Daniel, chapter 5 and verse 24. Then was the part of the hand sent from him, And this writing was written. And this was the writing that was written. Mene, mene, tekel ufarsin. This is the interpretation of the thing. Mene, God had numbered thy kingdom and finished it.
Right. So he made a number to the kingdom and finished it. Go ahead.
Tekel, thou art weighed in the balance and art found wanting.
Right. So now again, go ahead.
Perez, thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and the Persians.
And this was what the interpretation of Daniel has given to Belshazzar father, which was Nebuchadnezzar. Go ahead.
Then commanded Belshazzar, and they clothed Daniel with scarlet, and put a chain of gold about his neck, and made a proclamation concerning him, that he should be the third ruler in the kingdom. In that night was Belshazzar the king of the Chaldeans slain. In that night was Belshazzar the king of the Chaldeans slain.
Right. Go ahead.
And Darius the Median took the kingdom before, so like it being about 80 and 2 years old.
So he's about 62 years old when the Persian the media, as you say, started take over. So now and that now coming into let's read verse 6 there.
Yeah. The book of Daniel chapter 6 and verse 1.
And this going straight into the last part of the story here. Right.
It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom.
How much?
120 princes,
right,
which should be over the whole kingdom. And over these 3 presidents, of whom Daniel was first.
Daniel was?
Daniel was first.
Because now, remember now, after all of this now, when this king started to come to take over now, remember now he getting all the records come down who Daniel was. So now we do, he set him first above everybody. So now when this happened now, with all that will take place, with he now burning up Bell and doing whatever now, they come up against him. Right? Go ahead.
That the princes might give account unto them, and the king should have no damage. Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes, because an excellent spirit was in him, and the king thought to set him over the whole realm.
Right, and again, because what excellent spirit he's talking about, the only excellent spirit is righteousness. Seeing that righteousness, seeing that righteous judgment, and letting you know, hey, just as we say, these idols and them again that is before us, these things was destroyed by our forefathers. And as we read in Bell, where it was destroyed, and what took place, the heathen them was displeased. So this is why now again, when you get a chance and all to you could read through the storyline, and any questions, you could contact Officer Galawan, who is the officer in charge at the school in Trinidad and Tobago right now, and he could bring and answer questions, because again every Sunday he does do the scripture breakdown, so you can bring your questions to the scripture breakdown class and ask your questions. We have classes during the week. Every Monday we do the history class, which is done by police and officer Makakobal. Tuesday the Brotherhood class, which is something that again is very important to the nation. All these classes, which is done by myself, Officer Sawapiara. Wednesday the law classes, where you go into the laws, and again all these things is laws, that we shouldn't do and we should not do, which is done by, Officer Matt Kwayak. The Thursday classes, this will be, streamed live from, from headquarters, which is done by, the General Mahaiman. On Fridays, the Lashawan Kwadash again, which we speak in our native tongue, which is the Hebrew tongue, which is done by Officer Yakad. Also the Sabbath service, which is done by Officer Yakad. And during these classes, you see brothers interchanging. These brothers that is interchanging is certified by Commandant General YAHANNA, is certified by, the structure that is set up by our King Yahweh Shai and the Most High and Christ. And this is why now again, what we do, we teach Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians their records, which is, the Bible, these records, because these records belong to us. These records is what the Most High God had put before us, that we should be reminded in these last days, because as a nation, as a people, we have turned away and we have walked after the doctrines and the philosophy, after the idols of the society. And again, reminder, every Monday night again, join the Black Watch with Commandant General YAHANNA. During the week, he does be bringing out, as the clippings go out, stay tuned. Ever so often, he'll be bringing out, some update on what is taking place. So join Black Watch. Again, with Commandant General YAHANNA, again, the aviators, the generals, the captains, the officers, Again, a reminder to brothers and sisters, as we say, Akiam and Akwatiam, to pay your tithes, support this truth, support your brothers and sisters, and let this be a lesson again to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, that love your brother as yourself. And again, idol or say the worship or the Thanksgiving that coming up, stand with your brother, the tribe of God, the Native Indians. During this time, I know that they were being slaughtered, men, women, and children, because of what? So, put down that image or that idol, and stand with your brothers, stand with all your brothers, these 12 tribes. Again, this is the I.S.U.P.K out of 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Again, we are not affiliated or with no other religious group or organization. This is a reminder to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And with that, I pass the class to Priest and Officer Yakad.
Security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA. New rules for brothers and sisters. If a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister is interested in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers chapter 18 and verse 21 and Malachi chapter 3 from verse 8 to 10. Means tenth in the Hebrew and is pronounced Ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy convocation, we have the Feast of Dedication, which is Hanukkah, which is the 25th day of the 9th month, by the space of 8 days, which is Wednesday, December 9th, 2020, for 8 days. You can find this in 1 Maccabees chapter 4 from verse 52 to 51. Remind Akim and Aquatian to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for I.S.U.P.K events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, he is to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, like shirt, like pants, like headband or scarf. And with that we say, Imagine, upon Yahakodam, which means the rise and face east. We're going to say the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanaw, Shabashamayim, Kodash, Yah, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakwafka, Taba'a, Ratizaka, Ayah, Aisha, Ma'aratiza, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamayim, Natananawa, Lekam, Ka, Yawan, Wasalakno, Kawawatno, Kasalakno, Kawawatno, Wala'a, Tabayanawa, Wanasayawan, Abo, Awashino, Mayan, Ra, Ya, Naka, Amalakwa, Wa'ala, Wataparat, Iwalamim, Aman.
In the English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, forgive us our debts, forgive our debtors,
we forgive our debtors,
and lead us not into temptation, deliver us from evil.
Thine
is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it.
We're going to say the Hakak of the power. Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, Natananawa, Haka, Larapa'a, Kamaka'ala, Wakamadawa, Haka, Lataha, Amatazariah, Haka, Lahakwayam, Amatayam, Irakawa, Abata'ala, Lagarashan, Bahashem, Yahushai, Kawada Aman.
In the English, Yahweh, name of Yahweh, please give us a power to heal all manner of sickness, all manner of disease, or to cleanse the lepers, or to raise the dead, or against some clean spirits, cast them out, name of Yahweh. Thank you, so be it.
What we're going to say now is the blessings. Barakata Yahweh, Yahushai, Maka'ala, Wa'alahaim, Matazabia, Alawap-Yahanna, Alawap-Yam, Asaranya, Akwatazanyam, Akalyal-Yam, Wa'akwatiyam, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Wa'alaman.
In the English, bless you, Yahweh, and the Yahushai, and Michael, and the angel, command general, generals, captains, officers, troopers, and the sisters, Yahweh, name of Yahweh. Thank you, so be it. When you read the I.S.U.P.K curses, blessed are you, Yahweh, King of heaven and earth, all things living, Yahweh, name of Yahweh. Listen to us now, right now. Send evils and curses, and punishment and destruction to the heathen that speak against us, thy prophets, the teachers, the princes, the priests, the Israelite brothers, and the school. Send evils and curses, and punishment and destruction to the heathen, and shake loose the treasures of the rich of Israel that refuse to give to the school. Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary. Send evils and curses, and punishment and destruction to the Edomites and the nation, their drug dealers, the court system, the prison system, Planned Parenthood, all the government of our enemies, Amalek synagogues and armies, Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, Islam, Christianity, Egyptology, militia, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, skinheads, Kwasi-Kumatazi, the gay movement, the lesbian movement, spies, workers of witchcraft, NASA space program, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, Wall Street, open up the internet and the airwaves, the cable access channels and the radio channels, convict the spirit
bring the spirit
any of thy people
that
that seek to stop us and bring swift destruction to
destruction
all the heathen that stand in the way
stand in the way,
or try to stop us
try to stop
from
us
broadcasting your words
broadcasting your
through
word
all the planet Earth.
all the planet Earth.
Let loose all the
Let
plagues,
loose all the plagues,
cause them to go to and fro
cause them to go to and fro
through the earth
to the earth,
and consume them.
consume
Let
them,
the plagues
and the plagues
shake the house of the
take
thief
the house of the thief
and the
and the
murderer.
murderer.
Let
Like
Yahushua,
Yahushua,
Michael,
Michael,
and Gabriel
Gabriel
come down with the flying
come down with the
saucers
flying saucers,
and punish all the heathens
punish all the heathen
that come up against us
come up against us.
as we speak thy
We
word.
speak that word,
Cause it to be known by all
be known by all.
that it is angels that have done
That
it.
is the angels that have done it.
Cause it to be spread through the media,
Cause it be spread through the media,
throughout the whole
through
world.
the whole world.
Cause them to shake at thy
In
coming.
the shake of that
In the
coming.
name of
In the name
Yahushua.
of Yahushua.
Thank you always.
Thank you all.
So be it.
So be it. We're going to say, bless Israel, Yahweh, Bahashem,
Bahashem,
Yahushua, Barak Lanawa, Yahushua, Safaria, Barak, Rapah, Magan, Hagan,
Commander General
Commander
Yahan,
General Yahan,
all the generals,
Generals,
captains, officers, troopers, sisters, children, the destroyed of Israel, brothers and sisters fighting to come into the truth,
brothers and sisters fighting to come into the
brothers
truth,
and sisters in the truth,
brothers and sisters in the truth,
I.S.U.P.K worldwide,
I.S.U.P.K worldwide,
and their families, I.S.U.P.K Trinidad and Tobago,
I.S.U.P.K Trinidad and Tobago,
and their families,
I.T.S.H.A,
Tazapar,
Tazapar,
Mapataza, Yapa,
Tamar, Commander General Yahan, Generals, Captains, Officers, Troopers, Sisters, Children, the destroyer of Israel, I.S.U.P.K worldwide, Alexis family, John family, Philip family, Bosby family, Figaro family, the Koto family, Yakal, Mataza, Radab, Bahashem Yahushai, Tawada Aman.
In the English, Yahweh. In the name of Yahushua. Bless us. And Israel. And the school. Bless. Heal. Shield. Protect our loved ones. In the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it.
Sir, let's give the teacher a courtesy salute. I Madam Shabbat, Madam, Barak, Yahweh Bahashem Yashai, let's give the sisters online a courtesy salute. I Madam Shabbat, I Madam, Barak, Yahweh Shema Bahashem Yashai. Class dismissed.